satisfaction report, which was just launched a while ago. We have to bring you Joy News Prime. We'll bring you more of that event in our subsequent bulletins. But this is the home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Kojo Manu. Our headlines this hour: 14 doctors and nurses in self-quarantine after they came into contact with suspected cases of Marburg virus in the Ashanti region. We'll bring you details as the Ghana Health Service deploys a team to investigate the outbreak. Also in this package, governance in Ghana could grind to a halt next week if government does not agree to pay all public sector workers 20% of their cost of living allowance, with workers set to declare a strike. We'll hear from them. And much later in the bulletin, 21 students of the Accra Technical Training Center, ATTC, arrested by Cantonment Police for allegedly attacking students of La Presec. And later here on Joy News Prime, NPP chairman hopeful Dr. Ameya Ekumfi downplays the effect of the IMF support program on the fortunes of the party, as he touts himself as the best man for breaking the AIDS agenda. You have details of this and more here on Joy News Prime. Hello again, thanks for choosing us. Now, the Ghana Health Service has disclosed that 14 doctors and nurses are in self-quarantine after they came into contact with suspected cases of Marburg virus in the Ashanti region. They are part of at least 34 persons who have been attacked and have been asked to go into quarantine. Now, those under surveillance were part of the contact trace to the suspected cases identified in two separate locations in the region. Marburg is in the same family as Ebola and is very deadly. Two persons whose samples tested positive at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research are already dead. Further tests are being carried out in the WHO laboratory in Senegal. Speaking to Joy News in an interview, Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esedu-Bekwin, said a team has been deployed to investigate the suspected outbreak.
We have 34 contacts, and they were all not showing any signs or symptoms except one. So we took a sample yesterday. She has come out as negative. So for now, so far, all the contacts that we are following haven't shown any signs or anything. So that's the situation now. There's a team on the ground actually investigating the issues.
So, Doc, what also happens to the doctors who came into contact with the suspected case?
No, so they are part of the contact. What we have done is that they are in a self-quarantine. In total, they are about 14 health workers made up of doctors and nurses. So they are under self-quarantine. They are in their various homes. They don't come to work. So we have a number of health workers and who also in the community. So they are under self-quarantine.
Now, leadership of all public sector worker unions have agreed to give government a 7-day ultimatum to pay their members 20% of their basic salary as cost of living allowance, or they will lay down their tools. The allowance, now popularly known as COLA, was first demanded by NAGRAT and other teacher unions that are currently on a strike, who say it is to cushion workers given the current economic challenges and the increasing cost of living. Today, the Management Committee of all Public Sector Workers Union met at the TUC Hall here in Accra and fashioned modalities to press on their demand. Blessed Suga was there earlier and has come through with this report.
What you see in your shots now are leadership of about 65 different subgroups that you'd find within the Public Sector Workers Union. It's actually a group which constitutes some 27,000 workforce, and today they've been holding a crunch meeting, obviously over issues of labor unrest. If you're with us here on the Joy News channel, we have fresh detail coming through after this crunch meeting that this group has held this afternoon, threatening that they may go on strike if government fails to address their worsening conditions. Fortunately, a lot has happened, and we're graced to have the General Secretary, Mr. Bernard Ejay, who's here with us to explain what it is that the concerns of the group is. As you can see in the shot, and just if my cameraman could just give you a pan around of what is happening in the hall as we speak. A lot of meetings and sub-meetings going on just to deliberate and come to that final decision if that strike should happen next week. But Mr. Bernard Ejay will break it all down for us. Good afternoon to you, sir. Welcome to join us.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me.
So give us a clear understanding of what it is that we're experiencing in the hall this afternoon. I see that there are so many people from different groups here, but you'd be in a position to give us a background view of what actually led to this meeting today.
All right, thank you very much, my brother. As you know, our economic situation have not been the very best for some time now. And the pressure that all this brings on the ordinary worker is now really biting. We know the prices of food items are increasing by the day. The prices of fuel are increasing by the day. And our members are calling on us to do something. So what you see here is the management committee of our union, together with the executives of the 65 divisions of public sector organizations that have come together to deliberate on the issues. And simply put, they have taken a decision that they are feeling the pinch of what is going on with the increases in inflation and the fact that their salaries can no longer take them home, the erosion in our incomes, especially due to the 4% and 7% that was given for 2021 and 2022. All that has been eroded away because our projected inflation and how we thought the economy would go has failed, and those were the basis of those decisions. So what we are calling for is what the TUC, we are part of TUC, have called for and have written that government should take steps to reduce or help to ameliorate the suffering that is on the ordinary workers. And the decision has been taken by the structures of the union.
So let's talk about the decisions and what the likely implications will be. First of all, how did you arrive at the decision, and what decision did you put on the table today?
All right, as the management committee met, the decision that has come, which all the divisions have supported, was that we write to the appropriate authorities declaring our intentions to lay down our tools if our concerns are not heard or listened to. And we are going to put together the communication. We'll send it to the Labour Commission, Ministry of Employment, and all those who matter. We'll have a press release, and if you, the media, you'd also get the full details of the decisions that have been taken here. But the bottom line is we are given 7 days, as the labor law requires, that our concerns are addressed. If not, we lay down our tools.
Okay, so basically what might happen, and from what you're telling us now, it means that in the next 7 days, we should expect that if nothing is done to address your concerns, you may lay down your tools. Is that what you're doing?
That's what we are saying, especially our COLA that we are asking for of 20%, which the TUC on our behalf have clearly communicated to the authorities since May Day. And we had a letter to follow up with that. And nothing has come out of that. It's biting. People are suffering. People can take transport back forth to work. People can't buy food to eat. It's really difficult for public sector workers.
Now, a meeting between government and the teacher unions who are on an indefinite strike has ended inconclusively, with the teacher unions and their leaders not ready to back down on their demands. You know, NAGRAT, NAT, TEU and CCT have been on a strike this whole week, demanding 20% of their base pay to be paid to them as cost of living allowance. Government had tried to get the workers to return to the classroom whilst negotiations continue, but the workers have rejected that position. Let's get some more on this. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me via Zoom with some more details. Kweku, what have we been picking up from this meeting? You'd have to unmute, Kweku, so we can hear you.
So, Ernest, we know that a high-powered delegation of government officials, including the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, the Minister for Education, the Minister for Finance, and the Minister for National Security, four of the topmost cabinet ministers, met with NAGRAT, CCT, TEU, and their leadership today to try and convince them to go back to the classroom whilst negotiations continue. We know that they also try to see if they can get the leadership of the workers to back down on their demand for 20% of COLA. As we know now, it's had a cascading effect. A lot more public sector workers are demanding this 20% COLA. And so government was concerned that this would have some rippling effects and destabilize government finances. But the workers will not give in. They say that the 20% demand that they were making is exactly what they wanted. And so they were not going to give in to that. And so this meeting ended inconclusively, as we have been learning from sources who attended the meeting today, Ernest.
And we know that the government side of this negotiation has a statement out on the meeting. What does it say?
So in these 3 bullets, government says they've taken note of this demand from organized labor. They also said they are very much committed to engaging organized labor to find a lasting solution to this. And government is again appealing to the teacher unions to call off their ongoing industrial action. But then another meeting has been set for next week, Tuesday, which is the 12th of July, at the conference room of the Ministry for Employment and Labor Relations, to try and see if they can broker a deal, given the stalemate of the meeting from today.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll definitely be keeping tabs on this to bring our listeners and viewers up to speed on this development. The strike continues, the workers remain resolute, and government is doing all it can to get them to return to the classroom. But away from the labor front, 21 students of the Accra Technical Training Center have been arrested by the Cantonment Police for allegedly attacking students of Presekla. According to eyewitnesses, Presekla students received a video of men believed to be students of ATTC tearing their school uniforms into pieces. Now, the students of Presekla retaliated by removing their uniform, the uniform of an ATTC student, and tearing it into pieces as well, hanging it on their school signposts. The ATTC students allegedly responded to that by storming the school and throwing stones and attacking some of the students there. My colleague Mark Sodabuba has been on this beat and has more.
That school uniform is hanging there, very close to the signboard here in front of the school, hanging there like a flag. So we're told that the students of the Accra Technical Training Center, ATTC, came here in groups to attack some of the students, but it took the intervention of the police, who were quickly deployed here to quell, the situation. But what you can see on the floor right now are some of the big stones that were pelted, that were thrown onto the school compound here at Presekla. Let's try and get more understanding of what exactly happened. I have 2 gentlemen here with me who were here.
I was at the Salem Park there, at the back there, the school. I was about to start training, but I saw the guys throwing stones inside the La Presby school. But I thought maybe they were playing or something, but I saw that the thing was serious. So I ran through this area. Yeah, suddenly then I saw that the police were around. So I think they said they caught 21 of the guys.
We are at the back of the park watching a ball. We are about to play football, and this incident happened. And I feel bad that these people are the people that their parents are spending money on them to become somebody in future. And now they are turning the country as a war place, and it's not good. Although the teachers are on strike, but doesn't take that advantage to do most kind of things, because so far so good. As I'm talking to you, the MC of this area was here, and also the police commander also was here. So far so good. I can see that they say they are arrested 21 of the students, and they are cantonment, all from ATCs, and it's bad. I don't expect to see those kind of things, because our upcoming generation, what are we expecting? Your mom are spending money at us there, and you are here fighting and doing those kind of things. It's bad. So I think the government and the people of the students also come together and learn more about it, and to say what they are going to do in the next future.
Okay. We have here with us a father of one of the students arrested by police. And he says that he was at home when he got information that his son has been arrested by police. So he's here to find out for himself. Joseph and I is here with us.
I'm in the town, and my son just called me. He called me and he told me they have arrested him. Okay. And then I only asked him, what offense have you committed? And he said there's a quarrel between some school. I don't know their school. There's a quarrel among them. And for him, he's standing somewhere, they came and arrested him. Fine. So I just arrived at the police station. And then I went to the counter. I asked on the lady on the counter, on duty. And what he told me, I should go to the top, grant the story. As I went to the top, I've not seen anybody at the top. So I just came down and asked again. And then one police officer told me they are taking their statement. So I should wait. So for now, I don't know whether today I've never even seen my son and asked him the side story. Okay. Yeah.
But what kind of person is your son? Is he rowdy?
He's not rowdy. He's like me, as you can see me. Yes, we are from Christianity home, and we believe in rule and law. Okay. Yeah, my son is not rowdy, so I don't know. I'm yet to confirm from the police and my son. I have to see my son first and ask him his story before. If I have any further explanation, then maybe I can, yeah.
From one senior high school to the another, there's an easy calm on the Medina campus of the Ideal College after at least 3 students were rendered incapable of walking due to major injuries from clashes with land guards on Thursday. Dislocated knee bones, deep cuts to the chin and fractured arms. The state of some of the students who were earlier today discharged from the hospital swathed in bandages. Manu of our security desk visited the campus and reports that the students are left in fear of reprisal.
That there's a parcel of land which is currently in dispute. We're told that government is attempting to reclaim these lands which ordinarily were supposed to have been government lands. Men suspected to be land guards in a company of other men suspected to be police officers, of course dressed in the full apparel of police officers, wielding guns, came to the land with bulldozers and began demolishing some of the structures on the land, well, including a couple of pillars which had already been erected. But that particular structure was to be a hostel facility for the over 1,000 students here at the Medina Ideal College.
Hey, don't try anything. Hey, don't try anything. Hey, don't try anything.
Take brief official comments from the PRO of the Ideal College here. Mr. Chebafo.
Yesterday around 12:30 p.m. and we just heard a noise of a bulldozer trying to demolish the structure that was going to be used for a hostel for the students. So the director went there. They started assaulting him. Most of the students went there as well, and they pounced on them. So the number of students had increased. That is why we're able to at least overpower them in a way. Then immediately, with the timely intervention of the Legon police, we're able to calm down situations as we speak.
We were told, according to our checks, that these men came in the company of other police officers, correct?
That is the most surprising aspect, that during all the moments of brutality, the police were equally part of the people assaulting the students. This particular student, for example, who has suffered a dislocation of the knee, was as a result of what a police officer did to him.
So as we're just talking, we're just seeing some of the students, just puking, giving you an indication of the sort of stress that they are going.
I'm feeling pains, a lot, pains. Yeah.
Where do you have your injury?
It's a dislocated knee. What is going on? So I peeped through the window to see. I saw one of the landguards slapped him and pushed him. And there, I don't know wherever the spirit came on from. And then, I was pissed off. So there was a flame of fire in me, and I descended from the last floor. I'm a visual student. I descended from the last floor. And then I went, and then I also approached one of the landguards, and I disciplined him anyhow I want to. And then one of the policemen used the back of the rifle to hit my knee.
It's a policeman that hit you?
It's a policeman.
I was hit with a stick.
With a stick? By who?
The landguards.
I see. How did you get there? I thought you're supposed to be in class.
Yeah, so we heard the cry of our director, and we had to rush to rescue him. So just to get there, we saw they throwing our director to the floor. So we had to just rush and pick him up.
Okay, we are insecure. Yeah.
But you're still here. Do you want to go home?
Yeah, if I want to. I wish I was at home.
We're told that the police officers have come here. Did they speak to you? Did they tell you anything?
Oh, they didn't speak to us though, but they talked to our managers, and then they talked to us. So in the morning I feel secure, but right now I'm too scared. I'm really traumatized, I'm afraid, because I'm supposed to close 9 o'clock, but we closed around 8:30, all because of these issues. So we are really scared.
Just tell me, your students feel unsafe continuously being on the campus. Are you not looking at closing down the school, perhaps?
Oh, yes. So, no. Unfortunately, we can't close down the school, of course. We have only 3 weeks to prepare for WASI. So we still think that we are going to do our best to psychologically speak to them, maybe get experts to speak to them, and as it were, beef up security so that they can feel much more secured. And as we say, we decided to also petition IGP to step in this issue.
Now, the Education Commission has offered to support the government of Ghana with funds to implement an effective inclusive education through an innovative pedagogy approach if a workable action plan with a budget is presented. This follows findings by the Institute of Education Planning and Administration at the University of Ghana, at the University of Cape Coast, I beg your pardon, that 1 out of every 5 children have learning difficulty, while observing that teachers lack the requisite skill to identify such characteristics. Project lead of the innovative pedagogy at the Education Commission, Dr. Sam Ilku, tells Joy News the challenge needs urgent attention, which his outfit is willing to support.
The first thing that we will be encouraging our country partner to do with Ministry of Education and the agencies is to sit down to critically look at the findings. You know, Ghana has been doing a lot for years now. Now, what we expect to come from Ghana, one, is the good thing that happened, the success stories, the bright spots, what we are doing so well. The other 2 countries will be doing the same thing. Then 2, to identify the areas that they think they can work on as a country to improve innovative pedagogies in the country. A lot has been done in that area already. We know that teacher preparation is one of them. Teacher factor is key if you want to make any intervention in education to work. If Ghana prepare the action plan, cost it, what Education Commission will be doing with Ghana is to work with them closely, engage with philanthropists and development partners to gather resources to help. But then we also expect that there should be domestic budgeting for some of the things. So you show that this is what you can do with your own resources. Then together we can work and get resources for those that you cannot do with your own domestic. So it depends on, in terms of amount, it depends on the action plan and the cost that Ghana will attach to. For example, if Ghana realize that, as you rightly say, teacher preparation is key, how much will Ghana need to prepare?
You're watching Johnny's Prime with me, Ernest Kojo. Still to come in this bulletin, NPP chairman hopeful downplays the effect of the IMF support program on the fortunes of the party as he touts himself as the best man for breaking the 8 agenda.
This is that. As of today, over 100 countries have they've run to IMF. Not that IMF by itself is going to give lots of.
Hello again, thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Now, an NPP chairman hopeful, Professor Christopher Ameyaw Ekumfi, has downplayed the effect of the IMF support program on the fortunes of the NPP in the 2024 elections. Describing their comment about the NDC's application for bailout during the Mahama administration as politics, the former minister and MP said he is hopeful the government will turn the economy around before the elections. In an exclusive interview with Joy News, Professor Ekumfi said unity is more crucial for breaking the 8, making him the best man for the job.
What's it been so far? Very good. I spent 4 days in the northern sector. I tried to reach them in their various constituencies. I returned to Accra last night.
Okay.
To come and meet your appointment.
Very well. We are grateful. What has been the feedback from the delegates?
Positive. I think my message resounds very well with them.
Okay.
And I hope that next week, Saturday, they will show their love. But I'm always mindful of Sir John's wise saying,
fear delegates.
Fear delegates.
And so you are cautiously optimistic.
Oh, cautiously, yes.
But what is your message to the delegates?
My message, my message is in two parts. First, a special appeal to them for party unity. That we need to stay together after the competitions, after the flag bearership race, noting that our enemy is the major opposition party, which is NDC. All that we are doing is just going through motions to get us finally to select the flag bearer. So that has been my main message. I keep reminding them of what happened in 1979 when there was a split in the front of the tradition. I mean, Dankwa, Musia Dombo, where we have PFP and UNC. And then followed it up with 208. We had 17 fine gentlemen, patriots. But again, we couldn't quite come together after the contest, and we lost. 2016 was a good year because we all came together, we campaigned together, and the results were marvelous. You have over 1 million votes for the presidential difference, and 169 seats in parliament. We moved forward 4 years later to 2020, and hell almost broke loose. It was a time where there was a tie in parliament. Our president came up with just about 500,000, about 1 million short of the previous terms. So that has been our emphasis. And we can trace lack of unity all the way even to the polling station level, clearly at the constituency level. So that has been my main...
So you think that the party is not united at this point?
Well, from the signs that we are picking up, especially with this idea of factionalism, one shouldn't be surprised if we get to a level where disunity may become very clear. And that's what I'm preempting and advising.
And you think that will be your bane going into 2024?
Certainly. An army that is not united and disciplined cannot win wars. And everybody in the party appreciates that.
What possibly could be the cause of this disunity that you talk about?
Well, basically, the result of factionalism. You have A, B, maybe C and D, and so on. Each will have a following that may be historical, following that may just be emerging, whatever it is. They have their sets of supporters. And it's a competition. Each of them wants to win. So that is not surprising in itself.
But factionalism has always been a part of politics, and it's been a part of the NPP. You mentioned the tradition, Buzia Dombo and the Dankwa. And going into every election, there's always that card that people play. This person belongs to that camp, has the backing of the presidency. This is in the other side. It's not very clear to me where you belong.
I don't have to indicate that. If ultimately I'm going to become the Abusia Penny, to settle issues, to reconcile people. I don't think you advise me to indicate.
But that is almost inevitable. Looking at the structure of the party, almost everybody is aligned. And these factions you talk about from the base of the people, I mean the contestants, and that is where they draw their support. I mean, for someone, a contestant like you are coming up against Stephen Ntim, it is very clear where Stephen Ntim stands and where he's getting his support, and so all the others are very much likely to align. You think that is not important going to this race?
A neutral position may be the best in the circumstance. If we're going to preach unity, I think strategically it will be wrong to show a hand, and that is what I'm doing. I am for MPP. I approached both sides, or both. Maybe now we have more than 2 factions, maybe 6, 7. I approached all of them. I talk unity. But I have a vote. That's all you should know.
But you think the strategy will work for you?
I am hoping so, because many people are scared by the thought of factionalism eating into unity, disunity emerging after the contest.
And the party. But you're coming up against about 7 others. The former Attorney General
one has
dropped out of the contest.
Yeah.
Which of these 7 would you say is giving you a run for your money?
Myself.
You're not competing. You're not the only candidate in this election. It's not a yes or no vote for you.
Yeah, I'm competing with others. I know they are also working very hard. One of them has been there 4 times. But I believe that is not the...
I thought about Stephen Intim. Is he giving you contest?
No,
is he giving you competition?
That, but as a teacher, I want to sound this warning that it isn't the number of times a candidate writes an exam that assures his success. It's how well you have prepared yourself, how well you think you can manage the exam, how hard you study. That may earn you success.
But Prof, you are well advanced in age. You are 77, I believe. You've served the nation so well. You've been minister, you've been MP, you've served, currently you are the board of the PPA, the board chairman of the PPA. You've served in the party in various capacities. Wouldn't you say it is time to sit back and shepherd the party from behind with a wealth of experience you have on your sleeves? Why should you be at the front line at this time?
I spent 4 days in the north, 5 regions. I visited every region. In fact, in some of the regions, I visited every single constituency. There's wisdom in age. But let me give you a background as to why the spirit moved me to enter the contest.
Tell us.
I've been with this tradition late 60s, in those days, early 70s, when I became very active in the anti-Unigov movement with about 4 colleagues of mine on the campus of UCC. And from that time, I've been very close to the tradition. I indicated to you that in 79, I ran as an aspirant. I was beaten by a single vote by my competitor. I nonetheless accompanied the successful candidate, and we won that seat. From that time, in 1992, I actually stood as a candidate for MPP. Lost, of course, not lost, because after the presidential, we sort of gave up. 2004, I stood and lost. 2008, I stood and won. 2012, I stood and lost. So I've been with the tradition, with MPP for quite some time. But let me tell you what moved me. Yes, at this point, maybe the expectation is that one retires into some corner after my life as an academic. But 2021, President Kufuor invited me to join his government. I've been very close to MPP since then.
You mean 2001?
2001. Now, as I said, well, people's expectation is return to some corner. No, I'm not going to do that, because with the energy left, I think I always look back on the good old days of MPP, where people were committed, where people sacrificed, and so on. And what is happening now, where the grumbling is so loud, people are not too happy with a number of things happening. So comparing the two phases, I think, and with the experience that I have, and judging by what MPP has made me since my academic days, I think I have to give something back to the party. And what I can bring back to the party is to join the rest of the leadership in addressing a number of these issues, a number of concerns.
Very well. And you talk about a number of concerns, and there are so many concerns at this point now. The timing for this particular election is very crucial, and you would know that timing is everything in politics. Yeah. At this time, the party is seeking to break the 8, which is not conventional, but what we've seen from the Fourth Republic. It's not going to be easy. You have a party that is, a government that is going into an IMF program with all the backlash you gave to who is going to be your major opponent, John Mahama of the NDC. Do you not see the potential, if given the nod as chairman of the party, as being the one who would lead the NPP into opposition? That will not be a good record for you.
Inshallah, that's not going to happen. Talk about IMF. John Mahama has been there. Where is he going there? That's no news. But what is news is that as of today, over 100 countries have they've run to IMF. Not that IMF by itself is going to give lots of money, but then we agree on what is it that we need to do to the economy. And if I were the opposition, I would gladly accept that move, looking at the nation as a whole.
But don't forget what you said about them when you were in opposition. Do you think that will not hurt you? That's politics.
Yes, that's
so you didn't actually mean all of that.
We all have to come to face the reality. Had it not been for COVID and the war and so on, Ghana was moving smoothly towards a level where a number of these indices will be very, very positive. Unfortunately, the global, we are not calling it a recession there, but the global challenges said that a small economy such as ours cannot escape.
Some have said that the hesitancy, initial hesitancy of government in going to the IMF because you predict the timing is not so good and may affect the fortunes of the party come 2024. If you're given chairman, the not to be chairman, you're going to lead the party. Do you think that this IMF program has the possibility of affecting the NPP's chances?
Argue that, well, in a period of 2 years, you can succeed in getting out. It depends on a number of factors, but we are hoping that we may be able to achieve something reasonable within 2 years. But for the party itself, 2 years may be long enough for us to look inside the party, to see what is it that we can improve upon. All these grumblings by the youth could be addressed within that period. Remember, that it isn't 100% success that one is looking for, but signals that the leadership means well and taking some steps to bring some improvement in their lives. Even within that is what maybe
the management of our resources and corruption and the perception of it is also one major factor when it comes to elections. You are the board chairman for the PPA. There have been a number of procurement challenges, issues that have come up in the media. For the recent one, the MP for North Tongue, Kujeto Ablakwa, applied to the PPA for information on the National Cathedral, and the PPA says they have no such information. You sit there. Are you worried about some of these procurement issues that come up?
I'm not worried, because myself and my team are working with the rules. We have the Act. I'm not a procurement specialist, but at least I understand the English in the Act. And I advise all of them that if we work with the rules, we will run into difficulties.
But is it surprising that for a national project like the National Cathedral, the PPA has no information on that, or at least, by what we know now, it didn't go through the processes of the PPA, it didn't go through the institution? Is that surprising?
Failure of an entity to go through the procurement process leaves that entity with a risk of some sort of auditing measures and sanctions. So if you don't come to us, we are not going to ask you to come to us. auditors will find you out. And then normally a request will put in for ratification. I am frowning upon ratification. You do the wrong thing, and then you come to us for ratification.
Yeah.
So if PPA tells you they know little or nothing about a project, you have to understand them. If indeed they were in the approach to the regular application, then of course they won't have any information on that.
So you would support the calls for, a thorough investigation into this?
I will not support any entity that goes through procurement without going through the right motions.
Very well.
So I hope the necessary steps will be taken.
So you're heading to the polls on, that's next week?
Yes.
On the 16th.
Wish me well.
I wish you well, Prof. I wish you well. Unfortunately, I do not have a vote, but your delegates are watching. Maybe you want to speak to them briefly. Why they should give you the votes?
I have been in a number of almost all the constituencies. My appeal to you delegates is that I am ready to come and work with you. Together, we should look inside the party and see what wrongs we can correct. I am not here to acquire, to amass wealth. I'm not here for projects and so on. I'm here to work with you. I want to pay back what the party MPP has done for me. And if we are courageous enough to point out the misdeeds of members within the party to correct the wrongs, I'm sure we will emerge victorious in 2024.
Prof, I'm thankful. Thank you for your time.
Go.
And the NPP's National Delegates Conference comes off next week, Saturday. Joy News will be building up with a number of programs ahead of that special event. And of course, on that day, the political decks will lead the coverage of the National Delegates Conference. You want to stay with us. Now, plastic surgeons working on a 9-year-old girl whose hand was literally boiled by her stepmother are considering getting psychological help for her after spending close to 2 months on admission at the Konfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. Little Stephanie has recently been expressing teary concerns over the state of her hand after a series of surgeries in an attempt to give life to her left hand. The suspect, a female teacher at Goso, held her hand in boiling water for taking her 2 Ghana cedis. Management of the Mensen Gold Bibiani Mining Limited, who have since adopted the girl today, met the surgical team to find more advanced ways of promoting her recovery. Love FM's Erastus Saridonko has more.
The journey to recovery for little Stephanie has been rough and full of agony. Every step of her healing has been painful. After a series of surgeries to separate her fingers and do skin grafting, Stephanie still has more hurdles to cross. The pain and constant itching of the wounds on her thighs where material for her skin grafting were sourced has forced her to recently question the future of her hand.
Yeah, they have what we call the post-traumatic stress disorder. Now she's 7 years, she's aware of her environment, right? The post-traumatic stress disorder, as he's saying, is worried whether the hand will get better or not. But we can talk to the clinical psychologist and see how best she can fit in.
Today is a special day for her. 2 officials of Mensen Gold Bibiani Limited, who have since absolved her medical treatment, are here to meet lead plastic surgeon Dr. Emil Tano on possible ways of boosting her recovery. Sustainability Manager Emmanuel Edu and Medical Superintendent Dr. Bright Ofosusapon received medical briefing of her road to recovery from Dr. Tano.
Now we can say that we have covered almost 95% of the hand, like from the wrist to the descent. But we still have some few challenges. The donor side, I think that the left leg, It now have converted to food thickness because of infection. And then that is going to prolong her stay in the hospital. So now, even yesterday, we have to change the way we dress it. Now, 3 fingers, including the thumb, are really moving closer. But even though we still have deformity in the other ones, but maybe when we start with the splinting and the physiotherapy involving the hand therapist, maybe we'll get a better result.
Emmanuel Edu and Dr. Bright Ofosu-Sapon pledged the Mensin Gold Company's resolve to explore all avenues to ensure the full recovery of little Stephanie.
The purpose of this visit is to get some insight into the treatment that she's getting, and also where we are and also where we want to go.
If you look at the briefing you have given us so far, it tells us that you are very positive about her circumstance, and we are really proud of that and happy with that. What we want to suggest to you is that if there's anything that the lady needs, no matter the advancement of it, we are saying that let us know so that we can all discuss it to making sure that she regains her health, because one of the key pillars that we work with is to support the needy.
Meanwhile, the trial of the accused, Ellen Sewa, is yet to begin pending a medical report on her condition. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
And if you're touched by the plight of this 9-year-old, if you want to support, just call our front desk, or you could bring your donation in person here at Joy FM. If you're in Kumasi, just march straight to Love FM and we'll receive your support. This is Joy News Prime.